Hey everyone, Adam Bergman here, tax attorney and founder of IRA Financial. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the details involving making an investment with a self-directed IRA. And we are lucky enough to have Isaac Rodriguez join the show today. And Isaac is actually a client of IRA Financial and also is an employee. So I think Isaac just has a wonderful perspective on various scenarios that our tens of thousands of clients have encountered in making an investment with an IRA. So thank you for joining the show, Isaac.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to really focus on real estate because I know that's your prime investment of choice. So I'll just quickly start with some basics, recap kind of how to make an investment with a self-directed IRA, and then we'll talk about some of the fun scenario. So basically there's two ways to buy real estate or do alternative assets with a self-directed IRA. One is the full service, where you roll over funds from an IRA or 401k tax-free to a self-directed IRA custodian. Remember, not all IRA custodians, as you know, Isaac, right? Like when you started this, you had an IRA, right?
Yes.
But they wouldn't let you do real estate, right?
No.
Right? Because the traditional banks, financial institutions, they don't make money when you buy real estate or Bitcoin or hard money loans or private equity. So you open an account with IRA Financial or another great self-directed retirement custodian. And then at that point, you have two choices. One, you can have the IRA custodian make the investment into the real estate. Or two, you can set up a special purpose limited liability company that is 100% owned by the IRA or multiple IRAs. And then you manage it as the IRA owner. And ultimately that LLC makes the investment into the real estate. Titles in the name of the LLC versus the IRA. You have control, limited liability protection, able to get transactions done quicker. That's something that I know you really are a fan of.
Yes, because you have more control. I mean, if you find a property and you want to put down a down payment and you have it in your funds in that self-directed checking account, you could just write the check. Yeah. So it's great. You don't have to wait for someone, make a call. Oh, you write this check to this company, you do it yourself. Yeah,
like even though we're pretty quick, I mean, we have an app, so you go in the app, you just complete expense payment and we send the money, but it's not as fast, obviously, as you would just like ACH and Zelling it, sending it directly from your IRA LLC checking account, which is obviously way faster than anyone could do. So that's a super big advantage. Limited liability protection. I know even with your solo K, you like to have an LLC that takes title of the property. And ultimately third is like privacy, right? Like you're a realtor. Mm-hmm. You know a lot of clients, they don't want people to know who owns the property.
Exactly. So they rather put it in the company name.
Yeah. So you have an LLC. If you do like Delaware, Wyoming, it's much more difficult to find out who the owner is. And for certain folks, that's really important. So, okay, now that we know how you actually can get money from your retirement plan, whether it's a former employer 401k, an IRA, you have a Fidelity or Schwab, into a self-directed IRA, and then we know there's two choices, right? You do the full service or the LLC. Let's talk about some things to remember when you're making the investment. So, the first thing is, I would say, right, prohibitive transactions. Would you say that's like the first thing you should consider?
Yes, because it depends on, if you purchase it, are you gonna invest it to live in it or to rent it? And in this case, the IRS rule says that you cannot personally gain. So personally gaining obviously is yourself and your immediate family.
Yeah. So exactly. So
you can't. So if you're gonna do this, it definitely has to be for investments, for your IRA to make money, not you. Your IRA would be making the money.
Right. That's a great distinction, right? A lot of people don't realize. They're like, well, like I should be able to live in it. Like it's a good investment for IRA, but why can't I? Well, unfortunately, as
the IRS wants us to save money and to invest in our retirement funds, to make more money for our retirement. And if we utilize it to live in it, yes, it can help us, but it's not going to make us more money for retirement.
Right. And that's actually a great way of thinking about it. So basically when it comes to what you can do, the IRS doesn't say what you can do, thankfully, right? Because I don't think they would have foresaw the Bitcoin and all those other asset classes that have emerged over the last 47 years or so since 1973, 1974 when IRAs were created. But there's only three things you can't do, right? So you can't personally benefit or a lineal descendant, parent, child, spouse, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, or any entities controlled by such persons. Can't buy life insurance and collectibles. That's it, right? So like
pretty much that's it.
You've been in the IRA space for what, 7 years or so?
Yes.
So you've seen a lot, right? You've talked to thousands of people.
Yes.
Obviously, a lot of people want to try to live in the property, right? That's a popular question. Hey, can I use it?
Yes, that is their first question a lot of times. And I told them, unfortunately, you can't. But look at it the bright side, that your IRA will be making money. Not you, but your IRA. And guess what? Eventually, after 59 and a half, you can start taking, distribution and make,
live off the money. And if it's a Roth,
and
it's tax-free.
Yes.
Right? If it's a Roth. So if you don't mind, Isaac, sharing just, brief story. I mean, I know you have two properties in a retirement account and they're cash flowing, right? So that money is going back to the retirement account without tax.
Yes.
How does that feel? Like watching it every month?
It's
like,
great
oh my God.
because it's residual income and it's another income that I have. I have a pension from the New York City Corrections Department.
Oh, I better.
Yeah.
Oh God, I gotta be
when
nice
I
to you.
retired, that was the how I got my money through the 457 plan that I rolled over when I retired to an IRA, and then when I found out about this, I rolled it over to a self-directed IRA and invested in two properties that are fully paid for, and it's all residual income. It's money going in, and you can continue investing. Or
So
if you hit the age,
right.
59 and a half, you can start taking distribution.
Right. So the two benefits are the money, as you mentioned, the rental income is tax-free back to your
Tax-free, yes.
And number two,
compounding.
those assets have gone up a lot in value, right?
And yes, of course. Real estate has gone up, so the properties are worth more. Plus, I'm getting more residual income.
Isaac makes so much money, he works for free.
It's a no-brainer because, you're making money. Your property is making, it's residual income and it's going right into your retirement funds.
So let's just talk about another scenario that I think comes up a lot is, okay, obviously if you're using 100% cash with your retirement account, no problem. You just have to remember,
beautiful, yes.
You can't benefit from it, right? You can't live in it. You shouldn't be doing service. You can't paint the walls and mow the lawn. You should really have third parties just handle that. So how do you handle that stuff? Like let's say the toilet breaks.
Well, you call, whoever specializes in the issue.
You don't do it, right? You make sure you don't.
No, because that's a prohibited transaction. You cannot personally gain. And if I was to do the paint job, then I'm personally gaining.
You can't provide services.
Excuse me?
Yeah, you can't, as you mentioned, you can't provide anything.
So you have to hire a company, and then the good thing is you just write the check.
That's right.
Because you are the manager of the LLC. And you could just write the check as long as it's not a prohibited transaction, which is a prohibited person. You can't do it yourself. Your mom can't do it. Your spouse can't do it. Your children can do it. But your aunts can do it. Your friends can do it.
Brothers, sisters are good.
Brothers and sisters are good, and you can write them a check.
Yeah, and right, it's a great point. So bottom line is just get other people to do it. It's much cleaner. Now, obviously, you can do what's necessary. Like you can pick the property out. Yeah. You can decide I want to rent it out.
You can't be your own realtor.
You can't be your own realtor. So that's a good point.
That's a prohibited transaction. If you're a realtor, you cannot be your own realtor. But if you are a realtor, I personally guarantee this is something that you should be doing because you're a realtor, you're self-employed. And because you're a realtor, you can educate your clients on how they can utilize their retirement funds and purchase real estate. And a lot of realtors don't know this, and a lot of clients don't know this. But if you're a realtor and you know this, use this vehicle to teach your clients. Listen, do you have a retirement funds from American Airlines, from a government agency, and you've retired or you're transferring? You can utilize these your retirement funds to purchase real estate.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I think you're just a perfect example because you got lucky. Obviously, you bought the real estate at the right time, right? You bought it pre-COVID and at least your first asset, I think, right? Or both?
No, they both were before pre-COVID.
Yeah, so obviously your timing is great, but to get the cash flow, the asset appreciation, and diversification, because you also have stocks and bonds and
Yes,
other stuff.
of
So
course. I have cryptocurrency.
we'll talk about that another time. But
That's
yeah,
another time, but yes, you can invest in cryptocurrency, and gold, silver,
yeah, just
and real estate,
so it's just
and stocks,
and
yes.
stocks too, right? So you diversify, and from a real estate perspective, as Isaac mentioned, like so you can do the big stuff, right? You can pick the property, you can decide how much you want to rent it for, what color the walls are. Just don't do any actual nitty gritty stuff yourself, like all the labor intensive work. Just have a third party do it. Be as passive as you can and sit back and just watch the compounding returns. Hopefully your
Compounding
asset goes
returns.
up.
It's tax free. Tax deferred. It's great. It's excellent.
And can you
highly
share? Do you own it
recommend
in a pre-tax or Roth account?
Excuse me?
Do you own the property?
I wish it was Roth, but no, it's traditional. Obviously, it's pre-tax. Obviously, I think that I was going to do that at one time, Roth,
right.
when I had the IRA and I was rolling it over. And I
Yeah.
remember you saying, I don't think it's worth it.
Right, and we can talk.
I don't recall but why, but
Well, let's
it
do
wasn't worth doing the Roth at that time.
Let's do the next.
Otherwise, I would have.
Yeah, let's do the next video on pre-tax versus Roth IRA strategies, because I think it's a great segue into like, hey, you have some money, you want to do some alternative asset investments. Hopefully now you know the details for investments. Certainly got to look at prohibitive transactions. We're going to talk about UBIT at a later video, so make sure you check that out. Because once I have Isaac, I'm gonna use him for all the talent he has, because I just think he has so much information, and I think it gives a great perspective to all of you, just because he's done it. He's worked in the space, he's done it himself personally, and he can kind of give you both sides. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Isaac.
Thank you.
And we'll see everyone again next time.